Millions of home sellers might be able to recover billions in damages for real estate commissions paid between 2015 and 2020. That's a big deal. We're talking about billions. This could actually happen if two bombshell lawsuits are able to pull it off in court. At the center of these lawsuits is this question: are real estate commissions fair, or are they a scam? In this video, I'm going to give you my take on this question and also on these two bombshell lawsuits currently aiming at the way we do real estate in the US. Because for the last 100 years, it's been the same. So now, one of these lawsuits, if they succeed, will change the way we see real estate in the future. All right, so let's talk about these two cases. The first case is the Merle case, not Mueller, the Merle case. Christopher Merle, he filed this lawsuit in 2019 and basically says, I think it's illegal that you are making me pay the buyer broker. Remember, this is how real estate works in the US. You, the seller, pay a chunk commission to the listing agent, to the listing brokerage. So this brokerage, he takes that commission, which is usually 5 to 6%, and he split it in two. Half goes to the buyer broker and half goes to the listing broker. So Mr. Mueller, Christopher, he's saying, hey, I don't think that you should tell me or make me pay the commission to the other team.
What?
Why would I do that? You're making my listing price higher so I could cover the both agents. So he thinks that this is unfair, that this is actually illegal, and that's how and why he files for this lawsuit. The other lawsuit, the Sitzer-Burnett case, actually has already gone through class certification, which is a big deal because now it's becoming a class action lawsuit. So he's bringing other people, and now this is a major, massive lawsuit going against the National Association of Realtors, NAR, N-A-R, Keller Williams, you've seen their signs everywhere. This is one of the largest companies in the world. Remax, another company that you've probably seen everywhere. Theology, and there's another one, I can't remember right now. But this is a big deal because he's going after the big guys, the big dogs of real estate. The lawsuit alleges that one of the most important policies of the National Association of Realtors is illegal. It actually violates the Sherman Antitrust Act. Wait a second. What is the Sherman Antitrust Act? It's a landmark law in the US that bans certain businesses from coming together, from colluding in order to create a monopoly. It was passed in 1890 and prevents certain groups from controlling, from manipulating a particular industry. So the plaintiffs in these lawsuits allege that there is a long-standing conspiracy between the National Association of Realtors, NAR, and these companies in order to control, to manipulate the real estate industry, the real estate market, and that they actually prevent other companies, other brokerages, other businesses that might be able to do the same thing that they do for less. So they call this a cartel. They control an industry, this is the argument that these lawsuits are making, not me, that they control the industry, that they manipulate pricing, and they are preventing others to come and play. That's at the center of the lawsuit. So this idea of price fixing is at the center of both lawsuits. So you have these horizontal companies coming together and trying to encourage or mandate in certain cases that the agents, the brokers, charge a certain commission to the home seller. Well, let me tell you a story. When I began in this business, maybe almost 20 years ago, I started working with Keller Williams. I remember when I was a young agent, when I was in my 20s, the message was clear then. I remember having to talk to the managing broker, to the big guy in the office, if I wanted to list a home for less than that 6%. The message was, you need to charge 6% and bring that to the brokerage. That was the mission. In fact, there were actually these massive meetings in which the older generation of agents would come in and motivate younger agents. And the message was that you need to get 6%.
My highly trained Stratonites.
And if you actually look at that and imagine that same conversation, that same message across all these companies in the US, that's as close as price fixing as you can come. But that was back then. I don't work for Keller Williams anymore. I don't know what they do now. But clearly, by these lawsuits, some people out there believe that these companies are colluding with the National Association of Realtors and promoting, encouraging to charge a certain commission. And that's at the core of the price fixing argument. So if these lawsuits actually make it all the way to the Supreme Court, and that might be the case, the Supreme Court has actually been very easy to convince that when companies come together and collude, the Supreme Court actually thinks that that's illegal and that's a monopoly. So that's the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The argument here is that buyers should be paying their own brokers, should be paying brokers on their own, out of their own pockets, not from the seller. And that's at the center of these lawsuits. So what do you think? You think that buyers should be paying their own agents and not the home sellers? And I think that's going to be resolved one way or another when these two lawsuits are settled. The attorneys for the defense, remember, the National Association of Realtors, NAR, Keller Williams, RE/MAX, in these companies, they're actually making a strong and compelling argument. They're saying you cannot prove that you as a seller would have saved money if the other agent would have been paid by the buyer. It's a strong argument. There's no proof. So they're saying, hey, do not blow up the real estate commission model, the way the industry works, because there is no proof that it doesn't work. So the industry is pushing back, of course, because it's an industry that's been doing this for the last 100 years without being challenged. And this might be one of those moments in which an industry changes and hopefully changes for good. So this is sort of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's pretty much at the center of the argument of the defense. Saying this works, show me it doesn't work. The sellers, the plaintiffs are saying, I would have saved money by not paying the other agent.
Show me the money.
And there is this monopoly actually hurts the consumer. That's their argument, and that's defense. We'll see how this actually plays out. These cases have been a bombshell since day one, and maybe you haven't heard of them. Why would you? People are not looking into these things, but this is important. This matters. And why is this important to you? Maybe you're moving out of the state. Maybe you're moving to Portugal. Actually, check my video on moving to Portugal or Spain. It's a good one. But it doesn't matter when you're selling. You're going to sell your home eventually, and this is going to affect how much money you make when selling your home. We don't know how the real estate industry is going to look when the dust settles here, when these lawsuits, whether they succeed or not. But this is going to be different. The real estate industry is going to change. I imagine the real estate industry in the next 5 to 10 years looking different. More options for the home seller, more options for the consumer. Maybe different companies like ours, like Vrokr, or maybe Open Doors, or Homies, or Knox. There are so many options out there, different flavors, different business models, and that's going to be great for the consumer. We believe that this is the future of real estate, options for home sellers. The plaintiffs actually argue that the real estate could be like the real estate in Europe, like in the Netherlands or the UK. And actually, that's a good idea. There are different options in Europe when you're selling your home. And that's what we need here. I believe that. The consumer is pushing against an industry and a status quo that refuses to go away. And we have seen what happens to those industries that refuse to change. We saw it with Uber, we saw it with the hotel industry. This might be one of those moments when an industry, something this big, could change. So this might be that moment, the moment when a huge industry is actually disrupted. And the consumer, the home sellers, the home buyers out there will benefit from it. This might be the beginning of that Uber moment for the real estate industry. What do you think about this? You think this Uber moment applies to real estate? I want to see those comments. Let me know what you think. Okay, so are real estate commissions fair? That was the question of this video. I think the system, the business model today is no longer fair to the consumer of the 21st century. We believe that the same frictionless way in which we buy everything else in our lives could apply to real estate. Imagine how you used to shop for things in the past. Now you have Amazon. Imagine how you used to travel and now you have and stay somewhere else. Now you have, instead of going to hotels, you go to Airbnbs. Imagine how you used to take a cab, a taxi. Now you call an Uber. So I think the 21st century in tech has changed the way we do certain industries. Somehow, real estate has survived. The status quo has survived. But I think this is about to change. Technology has given more information to the consumer, to all of us as consumers. We have that information. And we can leverage that to make certain industries, like the real estate industry, work for the consumer. We can do better. But this is hard. This is a hard sell for the 1.5 million real estate agents out there. I get it. I think this is the perfect moment to come up with great ideas about how this could look in the future. Let's reimagine real estate together. And I think these lawsuits are the beginning of that. And that's the conversation. And I'm not saying we need to destroy the real estate industry. No, but we could make it better. Tell us what you think about the real estate commissions. Do you think they're fair? Do you think they're a scam? I really want to see those comments and see what you think. And if you found any value whatsoever in this video, subscribe to our channel. Give us a like. Don't forget to see the other videos that we have here. What we're trying to do is connect, create a community, and move the conversation forward. If you're into real estate, subscribe, and see you in the next. Take care.